See, I got to pause for a moment because I wasn't sure if you were going to make a wise ass remark or not.
No, I was actually letting you be a serious human being.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Welcome to another episode of Obscure and Unscripted. We were trying to break in a new co-host tonight, but unfortunately, we were having some technical difficulties.
You managed to just break her.
Before she even appeared. That really sucks.
The things that you do to your imaginary women are amazing.
I've learned from the best.
Oh, ow. My back. Okay, got it. Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to another episode of Obscure and Unscripted. I'm your host, Joe Ridgely. The even more handsome gentleman to my side is Mick Strawn. I can't even go on with the amount of titles you have. So, we discussed it before the show. It's all about you. How many hats do you wear, Mick?
You know what? I have done a lot of different things. I have done all the way from a production designer, effects technician, construction coordinator. I've produced a couple of things. I've been a second unit director, model maker. The thing is I always had a family to feed. In order to do that in Hollywood at the time, I mean, I had a lot of people that a lot of my peers would be able to take, designers would design a film and then take 6 months off and go around the world. And the first thing I would say when I was done with a film was, what's going on? I need a job. So I would get involved in all kinds of things. I would take it on because, for one thing, I could. Sorry about that.
No worries. Hey, this introduction for you was better than the last time when you were singing a theme song to a horror puppet movie from the 80s. Do you recall?
Me? Oh,
yeah,
do I recall anything that I said before? Hell no. Of course not. I don't even remember what I said at the beginning of the show.
Nice.
No,
So,
you know what? I have met goldfish that have a better memory than... What were we talking about?
So, Mick, if you were familiar with our show, which you're kind of not, we pull up people from the audience who have statements, ask questions and everything. So I'm just going to acknowledge somebody. We got Scott out there. Hi, Joe. Welcome, Mick. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome, Mick.
One thing that, ladies and gentlemen, I did want to touch base on before we really got started, the passing of Stan Lee. It's a loss, absolutely. It really does suck for the entertainment, the comic community. Mick, you worked on some of his creations.
I did. Fantastic Four. I never got a chance to meet the man face to face. His creations are absolutely amazing. I talked to a friend of mine the other day, and we were talking about the thing is these days you don't go to the movies, you go to the Marvels, because there are so many. I don't have to say why, right? Because there are so many of them. They're everywhere. So I think that and you have to look at how bad most of his stuff was back when I was in the business, and certainly we didn't do any great favors by coming in and doing Fantastic Four on like $300,000, But you know what? We did our best.
Well, absolutely. I mean, for what it is, it couldn't get worse than the what was it? The 2015 version.
Well, that's what I've heard before. I refuse to go see that. Talk about your bad reviews.
Right on. So let me get that picture down. I have to multitask on the show. This is why I really need a co-host, so I can read the comments that are going on and try to pull up pictures and try to amuse Mick at the same time. So,
well, we all know that you cannot chew gum and masturbate at the same time.
only on Wednesdays.
Okay. Right. Good thing it's not Wednesday. I'm telling you right now. So.
Yeah, you caught me off guard with that one, Mick.
Yeah, well, that's a shocker. You mean I said something that that you're not ready for? Wait, you should see what that's the description of my brain.
The brain, the mouth.
You and I are both hearing it for the first time. The ears are not involved until later. All of a sudden I go, oh my God, did you hear what I said?
Mick, how's the book going?
Oh, book, it's selling fine. I'd like it to sell better, but I originally kind of wrote it so that I had something in my hand for going to cons and film festivals and stuff like that. And I think that we probably sold about 450 copies of it, something like that. That's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
So that's and you know, it is incredibly hard to get a hold of. It's like a challenge. It's I kind of made it like a Dragon Quest kind of thing. That the podcast or the web page that I put out actually leads you into a tunnel, and you have to fight, you know, several different dragons, and then at the end of it is the worst of all is an accountant. You have to get around the accountant. Lord knows I've never been able to pass accountant before, so I passed a kidney stone once though, and that really hurt.
So I do have the web address.
Look at all these people over there. There's people here.
There are people.
Well, let me see this. It says see all, and if I press it, Dragon Quest. Look, they actually say things. I've seen both now, and the 94 flick was so much better. Scott Lake, you are a man. You're the man of my dreams. Okay.
And here's the co-host that I was going to have on tonight. Unfortunately, there is technical difficulty. She's not make-believe. She was there.
Oh, well, whoa. It's a real woman.
Oh, okay. So, Mike has a question, and I'll let you read that if you want to.
Thoughts on the new Child's Play being announced today from the producers of It? Do you think reboots kill an established movie series or enhance the film and experience due to new technology? Wow, that is such a loaded question. That's okay, Mike, how high is the sky? Because you know what? The new technology, it can be great. It can be bad. It was just like it's just another tool in the toolbox. And if you use it that way, it'll work for you. I would, say, look at Road Warrior or look at Mad Max. You can use modern technology, and as long as you don't overuse it, it's going to work great. And I also have to say that I also loved the living hell out of the new It. I thought that it was better than the old It. So I think that we're going in the right direction. All right, Mike?
Fair enough. And just so you know, you guys couldn't see me in the background. It wasn't me typing this. So.
Hey, April, we know that you're there. Say something, April. Type.
And
agreed with it. Okay.
I got Chris McGreasy. Agree with it. Yeah, a lot of people enjoyed the new rendition of it. So looking forward to the second part of that.
You know, the thing is, it all comes down to how you tell the story. And you can tell the story bad, you can tell the story good. You can use your tools well, or you can, really blow it. I'm a fan of some of the new films that are just amazing. And some of the very low budget films I'm amazed at. I mean, let's take, for instance, some of my favorites recently, like What We Do in the Dark. What We Do in the Shadows, right?
That was a comedy.
Oh, it was incredible. And Dave Made a Maze, I would say, were a couple of my favorite recent, fairly recent films. And, we're done with limited budgets, and we're just blowaways. Absolute, just blowaways. What can I say?
Ladies and gentlemen, wait. Mick Strawn was at a loss for words.
That was exactly right. That does not happen very often. So you're supposed to take up the slack there every once in a while, there, brother.
No. I just kind of, I hide the banner, and then I kind of put you on solo, and I sip out of my cup.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, bro. Oh, hey, April. Hi. How are you? How are things for Friday? Okay, there's a great question there. How are things from Friday the 13th? Vengeance going. We were actually shooting. We have a small crew shooting in Florida. Today. In fact, I was writing up just writing up the call sheet for tomorrow. And
wait a minute. Did you say in Florida?
Yeah.
Where?
Because, it's in a town called Green Cove. I think it's Green Cove, outside of Jacksonville, I think.
I'm a little jealous now because I'm about 3 or 4 hours south of there.
Oh, really? Well, yeah, you're probably right in the neighborhood of this. So, yeah, the thing is Steve Dash lives out there, and we wanted to use Steve Dash. So what we did is we are shooting 2 of the scenes in we're making him a sheriff in the new Vengeance show, and we're shooting him out at a sheriff's office literally right now.
Well, can you explain to people why that's so cool, who he's actually played in the past?
I have no idea who he's played in the past. How do you like that? No, I think he was one of the Friday the 13th. He was one of the Jasons. So we have Jason Brooks down there, who is going to be Jason in our show down there, and he's directing Steve, who was Jason, as a sheriff now. So, how much better can it get than that? We're kicking ass. We're taking names. We're going all the way with this one. So
that is awesome. And got April again. April's going to be shooting questions off because she's not here with us right now.
Well, Steve Dash is a very nice guy, and he's been very sweet. And so, we're going to shoot. We're about halfway done with him. We're going to finish shooting tomorrow, and probably in February or maybe March, we're all set and ready to go to film the rest of it. And I'm going to be doing production design duties, and I'm also going to be first ADing. Beans is as we have done some other pieces of this. Every time I showed up on set, I AD'd anyway. So, you know what I'm saying? You get there and you're going to be you're just going to be a standby, observer, and next thing you know, you're first AD. That happens to me. So
nice.
It'll be good.
I'm looking over questions real fast, and Scott, I'm not reading the one pertaining to a doll. Thank you very much. April saying, awesome. I had some stuff I wanted to touch on also. So with the book and with your career with the Nightmare on Elm Street, do we know anything about Fredheads and when that's going to be released?
You know what? I've talked to them a couple of times, and it looks like they should be getting it all together. They've been shooting long enough, haven't they? So I've heard that they're getting together stuff to make a release next year, maybe middle of the year next year. Looks like it, but it's like everything. They've run into like some technical problems and volunteers being what they may. I'm trying to support that as much as possible. They're going to be doing a giveaway here in a bit, and I think 3 of the prizes are going to be my book. Suckers! You suckers!
So then you would have sold.
I'm big enough on the screen to scare you. Ah!
So you missed my comment then.
Yeah, I did. Okay. I did totally.
Oh, okay. So you said your sales were 400, then it'll be 403.
Yeah, exactly. 403. Well, I don't know that those will be sales, but whatever.
I kid. So what's going on with this? This has been kind of popular and kind of cool. I've been paying attention.
My podcast.
Yeah.
This is a piece of work between me and Kurt Thomas, and we get together every Thursday and we do maybe three episodes of Dream Warrior Review, and basically it's a review. It starts out as a review and then it just goes horribly wrong, and it becomes stories or the two of us laughing or just kind of one stupid thing. You know what? It's just one stupid thing after another. But the thing is what I get to do is I get to tell stories,
Exactly.
I get to, and you know what? That's what I do. I tell stories. What can I say? That's totally me. So we start out and it'll remind me of a story, and we just recently saw it just the name. This is the problem with being my age, is things just go right out of your head, and it's not like they're going to come back. But hold on. You know what? If you hold on for 1 second,
that's what we have gadgets that we look at while we're doing.
Yeah, interviews. I know. See, I'm doing it too. Overlord. We saw Overlord.
So Overlord. That's Nazi zombie kind of.
Really? I mean, honestly, my favorite. Look, it's got some of my favorite stuff in the world. It's got your Nazis. It's got your World War II. It's got your zombie pieces. It's got explosions. It's got people shooting each other, cutting throats. This and that, and then the things, the sucking. It's great. I loved it. I loved every moment of it. I was just sitting there going, yes. So, I recommend it, and I recommend the podcast.
And what podcast is that?
That would be Dream Warrior Review.
And where can that be found?
Well, that could be found at any of your Apple stores, or your this and that, or Podbean, or you can even get it on YouTube. We're everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
Fair enough. And see, we're going to plug Mick's stuff a number of times because he's paying me each time we talk about it.
Look, I've only got $50. God damn it. This has got to stop pretty soon.
I've been known to be cheaper.
Oh, ooh. Ouch. So,
Mick, one of my
Fantastic
favorite
Four.
pictures.
Oh, what?
What
One of my favorite what?
One of my favorite pictures. What the hell's going on here?
Oh, well, I was doing a promotion for the book, and I had this concept that at the very end of the promotion, I would do like one of those Dylan things, you know, where the story is going on along as you're saying, come buy my book, and here's where you go, and all the rest of that. And as I'm flipping the cards, there's a slaughter going on, and there's blood coming at me from the slaughter, and then all of a sudden it becomes this. And basically, the really great thing of this is that all my grandchildren are have 5-gallon buckets of blood, and my son and my daughter, and I think that the youngest is doing the camera, and I had them all throw the blood at once, and this is just about 30 gallons of blood in the air for one shot. And look at that. I mean, have you ever seen such a suspension of blood?
Absolutely not.
It's a great shot, isn't it?
It is. I mean, to be able to pull that shot off is just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought, wow, you know, there you go. So I had to make a still out of it, and because for some reason the way the timing went, they all exactly at the same time threw their buckets. So there you go.
So what was your reaction like afterwards? I want to see pictures of that, kind of going.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but this is the great one because all of it's in the air. Come on, you know.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Who else has got a picture like this?
It's something I got to strive for now.
That's right. Try and be that, mother.
I mean, I kind of dare you to have a caption contest with that picture on your site.
That would be great. I would like to do that. I'd like to see what people come up with.
Like, okay, Godzilla's a female, and this. No, never mind. Anyway.
No. Oh, wow. Can't believe right there.
Crash and burn. I'm reaching.
I'm going to let this silence go.
I'm looking. So you've been pretty popular at cons. So what do you got coming up?
Oh, you know what? I've got one in Portland coming up that I don't know when that starts. It's funny. If you want specifics, I'm really bad, but I know that Crypticon is coming just after the first of the year, and there's a couple that people talk to me about things, and like I say, I am very goldfish-like. I'm very in and of the moment. You know, it's like you know, in the moment is a modern thing. It's sort of like you know, I ching. Oh, that's in the moment, and what we used to call that is senile.
Okay,
and
I'm on the same page.
Exactly, senile. I'm senile. But you know what? I have one that might, if you're standing by and watching my, you know, Facebook feed, I do think that I have one coming up back east with Ken Sagos, and the two of us will be at one back east. And then what I'd like to do is probably tag a couple of them together so that I'm not back east just for one thing, and we'll go to another. But that's still in the works, and yeah, there you go. You know, and I'll be carrying my books around, and I'll be, you know, who I am.
Nice. Scott's got a question.
What was the most rewarding effect I've ever produced? I'll tell you the weirdest one. I'll tell you the story about it. We were when we were doing Nightmare on Elm Street 4, we had a we, we 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 had a dream loop, as you might remember, and we had no script. And in the script, they got us into the dream loop, but the script was only like 60 pages long, and it didn't bother to tell us how we were going to get out. And so we had several meetings about it, and we were in probably our third meeting. And when I say we, I mean literally everybody that was involved, that was a major force in the film, like Peter Chesney, Rachel Talle, Bob Shea, Rennie Harlan. We're all sitting around this table over at Peter Chesney's image engineering office. And, you know, the big table like this, and we're all sitting around, and and we had gotten so stupid. You know, after 2 hours, when you're talking about something like Nightmare, and this is a funny thing, and you may not understand, but there is a logic to all the Nightmare on Elm Streets that you have to, you know, it's just like any horror film. You make a logic, and then you have to follow it. Those rules that you make are what, I mean, it's why everybody got pissed off when Freddy came up out of the pool in the second one, right? You know?
So there's a method to your madness. Right.
You know, that breaks the rules. everybody's incensed about it. Well, you have these rules, and the thing is if you're living by those rules, like we were, and let's face it, I mean, I've been working on these things since Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and the logic there was everything, and when you're doing that, you lose your mind. So here's where we're at 2 hours into this discussion. 2 hours into this discussion, the truck has turned into an airplane, like a jetliner, right? And we're in the cockpit now, and we're arguing. We're arguing about and by we, I don't mean me, because I had like completely dropped out of this when the plane, I was not at all a fan of the plane, and the fan and the thing is so I'm looking up and I'm listening to this argument going back and forth about, well, you know what we could do is we could we'll make Freddy the stewardess, and then no, Freddy's we've already got Freddy as the co-pilot. Well, we'll make Freddy the navigator, and we'll make her, you know, Alice is going to be the co-pilot, and then well wait, and it kept going on and on and on, and when we passed the 2 hour mark, I remember I just sitting there and went, oh God, I just want to hit nothing. And the guy next to me goes, well, what would that look like? I went, what would that look like? Well, I said this out loud. I said, well, you know what it would look like? It would look like if we just tied a cable to the bumper of the truck and ran it and tied the other end to a tractor, a big tractor, and just put the camera down here and ran the truck to the end of the cable. And I laid it out like that. And Peter Chesney looks at me and he goes, I can do that. End of meeting. We all broke up, and that's what we did. And I so enjoyed that, because you know what the thing is when you come up with something and that was totally from my id. I mean, you know, it was like I was completely out of it. It was just my tongue connected directly to my brain, that the rest of Mick was not involved, and he came up with that. And so we were all wondering, and we were all wondering what it would look like. And I thought it was an amazing effect. And the great thing is, you know, that's the scene where the truck looks like it wraps around a tree, but there's nothing there.
Right.
Let's see if I think I've lost you.
You did not lose me.
Sorry about that. There you are. I'm back. Hello.
Hello. Topo Jiju.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
You haven't left.
Oh, I haven't left. Okay. So anyway, yeah. So that effect, I swear, looked so amazing in real life, and it came out on camera. I mean, it was everything. It was everything that we wanted, and it also was kind of the first time that had been done. And yeah, I was really proud of that. That was just freaking awesome.
That is very cool. So I'm curious, with your long-standing career, and I don't know if my speakers are up too loud. Sorry, I'm going to turn them down. I got a little feedback. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen of the audience. During your career, have you collected or have a room of a collection of stuff that you... No, nothing?
No. Let me put it this way. Here's the thing. First of all, you assume that I would know that, what to keep. I'm not a keeper. I'm a creator. And the thing is you'll find this with a lot of people in the film business. You just walk away. Stuff goes in the junk. I get asked, I swear once a week, somebody sends me an email and asks for a prop from some film. And I'm like, dude, seriously, if you had asked me at the end of Nightmare on Elm Street 4, 3 days after it, if you had asked me, did I have anything, the answer would be no. I throw everything away. It's just the way that I am. It's that forward thinking thing. I'm not thinking about that. I'm done with that. It's always been just my point of view.
Fair enough. I mean, I would have thought that a keepsake from Fantastic Four or from here, from there, just the memorialize kind of.
Well, yeah, but you have to understand something. Ask any artist what they think of a painting that they did last year, and it's always the same. It's like, oh, guy, I don't, you don't want what you were doing because you're an artist. That's an artist doesn't want to retread old stuff. That's just not part of the game, I just can't stand, I just couldn't stand the thought of having something that was on a film that I had done in my house where I would have to see it.
What can I say? Guess I could kind of understand that.
Do you like the last recording that you did?
Do I like the last recording with you and I?
No, just the last recording that you did.
I don't like any of the recordings that I do.
Exactly. Well, exactly. See?
I mean, I nitpick. I have to watch it once. At least I have to try to. And then I'm like, oh, shit. Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? What the?
Yeah. Why,
yeah, and I want to see it again. So, yeah, you're absolutely right.
You don't want to live with that crap, right?
Fair enough. I get it now.
Okay. See, the thing is when you turn around and you make it personal and I say, well, okay, how about you? That's right. It's a completely different thing, isn't it?
Well, yeah. And now, especially when, Mick Strawn considered me artistic and my career. Yeah.
Well, I said autistic, but whatever.
Fair enough.
No, but I mean, the thing is that's just the thing, especially if you worked on something like for 6 months, and every day you're ticking down in your head as you get to the end, you're kind of like ticking things off, well, we're done with that and we're done with that and we're done with that and we're done with that. And then boom, you're out of it and you're going, what a relief. And then I don't want to see any of that crap again. It's just
Well, right. I mean, you're working a lot harder than I am on your projects. I mean, you're spanning from what, a couple of months to over a year or so, I'm assuming.
right. Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly right. Yeah, yeah. So it's it's an interesting thing because I get the question all the time, and I think it's really almost specifically the production designer, particularly. I mean, everything just reminds you of a task, and then you don't know if you did it well or not. So it's like everything is gone. I don't want to see any of that. So yeah, there you go.
So
Didn't expect that answer, did you?
no, I didn't. And we're gonna have a couple of cookie cutter questions, and you may not like it, but you're gonna answer them.
Well, wait a minute. There was something right here. Have you ever scared yourself with one of your creations? I have to point out something here.
Oh, that was from Scott Lake.
Yes, Scott. I'll tell you a quick little story. I was working on Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and on Nightmare on Elm Street 3, I could never seem to get away off the stage because we had 4 units and they were all offset, so that there was always somebody working on the stage every hour of the day, and all of them were involved with me one way or the other. And we had this set that was over in the corner that went all the way across the back of the stage, and it was the alley set where Taryn gets shot up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That set was over there, and what we had done is we had kind of made it we put a cot in there so that you could go in and take a nap, because it was closed at 2 ends, and you had to like climb underneath the place that said Jake's Bar with the neon. You had to climb around to get into it. And I remember being really, really tired, and everybody was bugging me, and I just I just couldn't take it anymore. And so I went and I hid, and I lay down on a cot, and I fell asleep, and I rolled off the cot, and I woke up. I rolled off the cot, and I woke up maybe after about a half an hour or something, and there's trash in my face, and all I can see is this alley and stuff like that. And I swear to God, the first thing I thought was, oh, man, I don't remember any of that. I don't remember the gutter or the, so I thought that I had really, honestly, like I was in the gutter. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. No, I know where I am. Holy shit.
Well, yeah, you're working 100 hours a day.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, I swear, one time I was on the stage for 72 hours. And I mean, I was bouncing between stuff, honestly, for 72 freaking hours. So I finally, everybody pushed me off the stage, right? And I go out and I get in my car, and I started just driving home. Now, I lived up north of LA, and and I'm going on the 5, and I run out of gas almost immediately. I'm like maybe 5 miles away from the stage, and this was back in the time before there were the cell phones, right? And I had to walk, and they had these emergency call boxes on the side of the freeway. And I get up to the call box, and I'm like, and I was crying. Literally, I was crying. I was so tired. And I just could not take this. This was the thing that pushed me over. So I'm crying on the phone, and they said, well, is there anybody we can connect you with? And so I told them to connect me to the office. And I gave them the number, and they connect, and literally you could tell. I mean, I was, and I broke it down, and I hear on the freeway, and then the cars were going by, and tired. And all right, guys. And I go back to my car. And I sit down in the car, and literally 2 enormous trucks drive up, and Griff Ruggles, God rest his soul, Griff Ruggles pulls up behind me, in front of me with a trailer, and then he gently gets me out of my car, and he goes to the truck behind me, and he puts me in next to him, and he drives me home. And then they stopped and they gassed my car up, and then they drove my car to my house, and he drove me home, and he drove my car to the house because they were so freaked out because I was crying on the phone.
Holy crap.
Now that's tired, dude. That is really
definitely tired. I have a story about tired, not quite interesting as that, but working for about 36 hours, nowhere near 72 hours. I'm driving home, 3 a.m., middle of US 1 in Florida, and a nun ran across the street.
As they do, you mean? As they do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Well, see, that'll do it to you there. Yeah, I like that. Sleep deprivation is a hell of a high. It really is, man. It really is.
That is Scott. Oh, man. So I'm looking things over. I'm trying to find pictures and everything. I had a bunch of pictures, but some of them disappeared, which I don't like whatsoever. And then I see all these April blank pictures. Sorry, April. That was supposed to be on the show in my lobby that I was supposed to bring up. But
well, is April still on the show? Are you there, April? Say something if you're still there.
Is there anybody out there?
She has abandoned you completely. See, I told you she was imaginary.
Can you blame her?
I can't. This is incredibly boring.
Wow, no, it's not.
See what I did? See what I did there?
Pages upon pages. Okay.
Yeah, you were going to ask me a question, and I would. Hello, April. Got a question?
April, don't be sorry. It was a technical thing. She is here. See, Mick, you're.
Oh, wait. Oh, I'm a bad influence. Oh, really? It's me. Actually, it is me.
Well, absolutely.
I'm a devil.
I'm going to turn my speaker up a hair. For once, I can't hear Mick. Well, I heard that.
So now you had actual questions that you wanted me to answer.
Me, I did. Yes.
Yes, you did. I know that I kind of like veered it off and took us to the left or the right or whatever, but you had an actual question.
I did.
Did you want to ask it?
No, I'm going to allow for uncomfortable silence.
Okay, that was uncomfortable enough. Oh boy.
Discuss a little between TV and movies. What's the difference for you? What do you enjoy more?
Oh, boy, TV. Here's the difference between TV and movies. TV buys you the house, and all you do is you survive and you move on. I can describe it best this way. I've done some TV movies before, and the great thing about it, or the great thing about a TV movie is this: is if there's ever a question at the end of the week, I had this come up. I had a director who said late on a Friday night, when we weren't going to film again until Monday morning, he says, "Well, you know what? I'm really trying to change the nature of this character, and I'd like to change the color of this room and paint this room. and I went to the accountant, and PM said, no, we're not going to do that. You do realize that we're just the crap in between the commercials. You know that, right? I was like, well, yeah, I know that. Because that's what TV is look at it this way. If we we're doing a TV movie or a TV show, you're spending X amount of money. But the commercials are going to be X cubed. That's the amount of money that they're going to spend on 30 seconds. So, as to whether you matter or not, no, you don't matter. Movies. The problem with movies is that when you're doing a movie, you think to yourself, well, every little thing that I do is going to make enough of a difference to get me that next bigger movie. So it's a completely different head, totally different head, man. Totally different head.
So when I sent you a link that Fantastic Four, it hit YouTube.
Yeah,
and it's on there now. Does that hurt or help you?
I have absolutely no idea.
I mean, it wasn't meant to be out to begin with, I'm assuming,
right.
based on the documentary.
It wasn't meant to be out. I mean, if you see the documentary, which Marty apologizes to me all the time for not having me on the documentary.
Why the hell were you not?
Right, exactly. Well, that's I was like, I was, even at that point, I was a pretty easy person to get a hold of. I was literally, at that time, in the phone book.
Wow,
the South Bay Los Angeles phone book. In the phone book. Yes. So, well, how would I have got? I was in the phone book. But yeah, what can you say? You do what you can, and then you move on. So I don't know what difference. It's going to make. I would assume that enough people have seen it for sure. If you ask among people that are going through a HorrorCon or a film festival, absolutely everybody has seen it, in that group. So I think that's, and we get some kudos, at the time, Marvel films just were pretty bad. I mean, look at the shows that were on. I mean, they tried to do a TV show and it was horrendous. I mean, the best thing they had was Bill Bixby and the Incredible Hulk, right?
And the multiple TV movies, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was it. Really, it's not like we were working kind of completely against the grain. Certainly, DC Comics, and you have to admit this, is DC Comics got the jump on everybody because they got the Batman, right?
Well, not only that, I mean, it brings me back to DC is kicking themselves in the ass because Marvel was going bankrupt and they had the opportunity to purchase Marvel.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, the thing
is, I guess you were going with this. I'm sorry, I kind of lost you on that.
But what I'm saying is DC, had the higher visibility at the time, and they just
Eaton and Batman, and
right, and they just blew that. I mean, just Marvel just came in, well after the Fantastic Four, I might say. But one of the problems that they had with Fantastic Four, and I think one of the problems that they kind of have, even with a lot of the Marvel films now, is they have too many leads. I mean, 4 leads is too many. You know, it's a hard thing to handle. And I think that some of the multi-lead Marvel films get lost. You know, they're just kind of like too big and unwieldy.
Right. And I refer to that as oversaturation for comic book movies and TV shows, and people start losing interest.
Well, you know, the thing is I mean, I'm sure that it seems like everybody loved the last Avengers film. I hated it. It was just the crappy, went on and on. I mean, the thing is you got immediately into a purely CGI world, and that's all you saw through the whole thing. I mean, the Guardians, the one shot that was like kind of partially worth it was, you know, the Guardians of the Galaxy coming in, you know, because they were focused around one thing, but then they went beyond that. And the ones that I like are like kind of the Ant-Man ones. And, I'm trying to think of the more recent, I like the funny ones.
Ant-Man and
Ant-Man. Well, yeah, Ant-Man. But I was trying to think the one with Ryan Reynolds is the one.
Deadpool.
Deadpool, yeah, right. Ant-Man and Deadpool, to me, they're awesome. And I even like the Spider-Man, the most recent Spider-Man one I liked. You know.
But you got everybody moving around with rights to it, Fox, or no, what is it, Sony or Marvel?
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, you know, like I say, you know, it's time to go out to see the Marvels. Did you go and see Marvel last night?
Well, I've got Melissa Rice saying, I agree. I didn't like the last Avengers either.
I don't know why people went crazy over that thing, because to me, I thought it was just a chaotic mess, and that it didn't look real, and and in the end, what was the ending about and all that, you know? And then, so you know what? And the weird thing about it is that was a perfect opportunity to lose a lot of the Marvel characters and not bring them back.
So we got to wait for part 4 and find out.
Well, but I'm all for not bringing them back.
Well, you bring up a valid point, though, with Marvel and everything. So from a practical effects person to CG or CGI, I mean, how do you feel about that?
You know, the way that we worked stuff is we worked back in the day, and I don't want to be an old fogey. You know, really, deep down inside, you know, I'm 17, right?
Oh yeah, so am I. I've got to say gray on the sides, and
but the thing is, yeah, right. Back in the day, you did everything that you could to avoid doing opticals, because opticals tended to be very expensive and not very good. Blue screens and that sort of thing. They just technically, you know, were your weakest link. And so the problem is now it's a producer's joy to bring in CGI, because they don't have to do it on set, and it always works. You know what I mean? I mean, CGI always works. You just don't do it, and you know, maybe do some reaction or stuff, and you don't even have to do any of that anymore. You know, it's just like then they can just put it in as a line item in their budget, and they can be cut or not cut. You know, the thing about practical effects is sometimes it just didn't work.
Do you consider it cheating?
No, I don't consider it cheating. I think it's an overused tool. I think it's like it's kind of like an all-purpose wrench. You know, like they'll sell a wrench on late night TV that, look, this wrench works for everything. You know, it doesn't. It doesn't work. What it does is it works badly for most things, right? You know, and that's what CGI is. CGI, you know, I mean, it's okay, right? But it needs to be used as one of the rest of the tools in your kit. And you need to weigh out those decisions. You know, I have these discussions with everybody. You know, I mean, really, if I were a PM right now, what I would say is this: is if we're on the set, we're going to give it 2 chances to start out with practical effects, and then if it doesn't go, we can just move on. You know, because then we'll do it with the CGI. So that way we get a chance of like starting it right.
Well, you lost me at you had this discussion with everybody, so I feel less special right now. So I'm a little butthurt. Go on.
What? I'm saying the thing is right now I would, if I was a PM, production manager on a film, and I had a given effect that was being done practically, I would let it go. I would let them try and do it practically a couple of times, and then just move on, knowing that I had in my pocket the CGI. You know, that's a proper use of that technology.
Absolutely. We got another question from Scott. I'm going to let you take this one.
Hey, Scott, don't you have a real life? What the hell are you doing? I mean, really, come on. I can't even believe I'm here.
Wow. Touche.
Do you think today's horror is giving a new life to practical effects? I think it is, and I think it will. Yeah, absolutely. I think that it is. So, let me tell you how far it's swung back. People are actually starting to use film again. You know, I mean.
Well, how cool is that, though? I mean, in retrospect, it's.
I don't know if I would go that far, because film, the technology is so great. With I don't think a lot of the problems are that the filters and so forth that we have for digital make it look like film. I mean, I think that works.
He's more pertaining to independent films, lower budget films.
Lower budget films definitely cannot be shooting that often with 35 millimeter. That's an expensive way to go, boy. It was even expensive back in the day. You know, I mean, look at the development costs. I mean, if you were even doing a short film back in the 80s, you're just alone the cost of the film and making a short film, it's like $5,000 getting it developed, right? You know, do you really want to go there? I don't know. I mean, I think digital cameras are amazing. I think that the lenses, there are some lenses that are coming back that are imitating the 80s glass and stuff. I think that most of the modern lenses go too far in being super crisp. I mean, you know, I was shooting when I first shot with Vengeance. We were shooting some stuff when it was called Mythos, and we were using just the modern lenses, and they were so clear and so crisp, and they had such great depth of field that they just didn't work for a horror film. So we went and started using lenses. When we doing Vengeance, we're using lenses that have a more 80s effect to them. They have less depth of field. They are not overall as crisp. I mean, I plan on, okay. Let's see. Not at this time. Do you think today's horror is giving new life to practicals? I already answered that. What's not at this time of the day? I mean, I plan on releasing my short films once they are made onto a select number of VHS. Don't do that. Don't. VHS is horrible. VHS is.
I notice a lot of people are trying to do the retro thing right now pertaining to horror. and they're doing the VHS, and I don't understand the concept either. Who has a VCR anymore?
Hey, VHS is not coming back like a turntable, guys.
I mean, that's I'm trying to understand the concept, really. So VHS, I had a VHS DVD player, and that went in the trash. I'm thinking 8 years ago.
So glad to see that sucker go. Yeah, that's the point. He's a nostalgia nut. You know what? Nostalgia for the sake of nostalgia is just nostalgic.
Well, I mean, it's a valid point. VHS, but I mean, vinyl, VHS. I still don't understand the vinyl freaks with music on vinyl. It's CDs, MP3s, MP4s.
Well, don't get me wrong, man. Listening to Miles Davis on a turntable through a tube amp is an amazing thing. I mean, that's the way that it was recorded, and it was recorded for that setup, and it works beautifully. But that's a whole different discussion.
Well, granted. So VHS, I'm thinking it's definitely a thing of the past. Why are we doing it? Audio recording on it, and with high definition and everything. Is it pure nostalgia or?
Hi, Melissa. Very cool. Okay, you can own vinyl. That's good.
Oh well,
yeah.
Melissa has a VCR and she has vinyl as well.
These are sensitive topics that maybe we should move away from.
Fair enough.
So, any other questions?
No, it's time to end. Bye. No.
Yeah. Bye. See you later.
Damn, with the exception of cookie cutter questions.
And you know how good I am with those.
No, I know how obnoxious you are with those. There's a difference.
Well, good, obnoxious. What's the difference?
I mean, I've followed you for the past couple of years, and yeah, social media.
So, just out of curiosity, hey, see you later, Scott. Thanks a lot. Really, I appreciate the questions, and have a great day.
Thanks, Scott.
So, yeah, what was I going to say? Probably nothing good. Oh, so what do you think overall of my presence for the last 2 years?
2 years? Well, I think you're a long-haired hippie freak.
Thank you. Honor some of that.
And you may be shocked, but my hair is much longer than yours.
Really? Okay. Well, there you go. I just kind of let my freak flag fly, you know?
Oh, so do I. And that's why I think you and I get along so well.
Thank you. Thank you, April. Have a great night.
Have a great night. Yeah.
Oh, she says good night to Scott. What was that all about?
No, Mick, it's always a pleasure. I mean, I was going to discuss everything from Buffy to Boogie Nights, Candyman, Blade, Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Part 3.
But
I have a ton of crap to talk about.
Well, you know you can call me anytime, Joe.
I appreciate that. So anybody else, Mick definitely seems like a fun guy to work with, and I agree 100%. And we would like to see your project with the Friday the 13th screener. I want a screener.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I will tell you this. Give me about a month. Come back with a screener. We'll talk about Vengeance, and we'll have another discussion.
Fair enough. Hang out with me for 2 minutes after I end this. And
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Mick, you were, as usual, a pleasure. And I'm doing this just for you, Mick.
Oh my God. Look at that. Your hair is longer than mine. See, this is all I got. That's all I got.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.